Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Today, what we're going to go over is why do we keep forgetting names? This isn't something new. We've all forgotten names throughout our whole entire life, so this isn't necessarily just because you're older. But you may find that you're struggling a little bit more because you are older, but you don't have dementia. Nothing like that's happening. So it's just the way our brain's working. It's what we do. It's how we process things in our brain to help us remember things like names that we're unsure of once we meet someone. And it happens all the time. Did you ever bump into someone at the grocery store and suddenly their name vanished into thin air? Like you know who they are. You're totally aware of knowing them, but the name is gone. I mean, it's right on the tip of your tongue. You know it is, but you can't remember it. So, what you can do and should do immediately is not continue a conversation and hope that it comes to you, because it may, but instead say, you know what, I don't recall your name. I'm sorry, or say, I'm sorry, I don't recall your name, or what was your name again? Just say something like that. Chances are they may not even know yours. So they could say, well, my name's Robert. And you go, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, thanks. And I'm Connie. Just in case they forgot your name, because they may not want to say the same thing back to you. But let me tell you, honesty is the best. If you're just unsure about what you want, how you want to ask this person what their name is, honesty is the best policy. And you never know, you may be standing there talking to Robert, and a friend of yours that comes up and says, "Oh my God, hi, how are you doing?" So all of a sudden, if you don't ask Robert what his name is, now you're in an awkward situation where now you have to introduce him to your friend and you don't remember his name. And so then it's awkward because then you have to say, "What was your name again?" Now, if you had done it right from the start, you would have said, "Hey, Robert, this is Karen, my one of my good friends here." And then it's up to them how they want to remember names. But it's the thing is faces mean something to us. We know somebody's face. We know that they're familiar to us. But names are arbitrary. It's not something that carries a meaning the same way to us. I mean, now obviously, if they're in your family, they carry a tremendous meaning. But other than that, names just don't mean the same things to us unless we have some kind of a ongoing relationship with them. If you have like a short-term memory filter that's in your brain, and if it doesn't tag it as important, it just goes poof. It's gone. It's because it's not as important to you. The person may be, but they're not that important yet. And if you're doing anything, say you're in this grocery store, so you're multitasking, you're trying to shop at the same time, or you're still thinking about, I got to get tomatoes, I got to get some ice cream, I got to get meat, while you're talking to this person. And maybe you're even in a hurry, so it's kind of stressful to stop and have this conversation. You're not going to remember the name because you have too much going on in your brain. So, is it important enough to stop thinking about your groceries when you're talking about them? You can always say, "Hey, Robert, right now I have to go get this done," but you said their name again. Or, Robert, do you know where the popcorn is in the store? I can't remember. Say something that will make you remember that name. Now you can do a couple things when these situations happen. After you walk away from Robert, You can go in your notes app and have one of your checklists be names, and you can say in there, met Robert at the grocery store on this day, and that's it. And then if you should run into him again, or you see him across the room, you can look it up and say, what was that name? I remember seeing him in a grocery store. May or may not do you any good. I don't know. It's worth a try, though. We have the phones available to us now to help us remember things. You can pretend you're looking up something on your phone while you're standing there talking to him, and he doesn't know that you're looking up his name. So it's an idea worth trying. But the first thing is to slow down when you first meet someone. Slow down those introductions. I mean, don't rush past names, because we are too busy in our own mind. And I do this a lot, so I know that this happens, where I'm thinking, don't forget to tell them what your name is. Don't forget your name. And you're even rehearsing in your head already. Hi, my name's Connie. Or, by the way, my name's Connie. You're already doing that. And so you don't even listen to what they're saying their name is. So don't have that. You're going to get your name out. So when they say, hey, my name's John, by the way, you can say, "Oh, John, nice meeting you. Oh my gosh, well, John's a familiar name to me. My brother's name is John," or something like that. You can say, and then you can say, "Oh, and I'm Connie, by the way." And then you've got your name done, and let them say something like, "Well, Connie, it's nice to meet you too." But slow those introductions down. If you're a fast talker or you're a fast thinker, slow it down and at least get the introductions done. And once the introductions are done, then you can speed up your vocabulary if you want, but don't do it while you're getting somebody's name. Make sure that you are listening to them. You can always connect their name to something. You can picture it. So if John's standing there and he's going, "Oh, I came to get vegetables. I garden a lot, but my tomatoes are dying, so I need to get some tomatoes." You can look at him and think of him out in the garden with a big garden sign that says John, or John's Garden, or whatever. If those help you recall their name, do that. I'm not as good at associating people. I'm better if I repeat their names over and over again. So you've got to find the one that works for you. And test yourself. When you walk away from somebody and then you go, oh my gosh, I don't even remember their name to put it in my notes app. I don't remember who they are. I don't remember their name. You could go right back up to them and say, I'm sorry, what was your name again? Better to get that embarrassment done now rather than find out you're embarrassed later on when you should know this person. So do something like that, because if you can't recall it right away, you have to do something else to make sure that you remember it. In forgetting names, it's just because they're slippery for our brains. But a few quick tricks can make a difference. So if you try some of those tricks and tips that I just gave, they may help your brain hold and retain this information of somebody else's name. So have you ever really had a name that you just, decided, I don't know, I'm just going to call him John and then he'll correct me? I mean, some people do that. Like they call me, I get called Bonnie instead of Connie. I get called Carol instead of Connie, because they know that there's some connection. There's some sounds that are the same. And, I don't care, and I just say, no, it's Connie. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. They don't have to apologize because believe me, every single one of us has forgotten names. And I'm talking right down to the young kids. There was a time that I went to a park with them and I ran into somebody that I knew they knew and I knew. And I said, oh my gosh, who is that? What's their name? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. And I said, but you know them. And they're like, I don't know. You know them too. So don't be afraid to ask, what was your name again? Um, they're just not, as I said, important to us, the name is, as much as the face and knowing that we recognize them. So if you found these memory tricks helpful, hit subscribe and like and stay curious with me. We got to figure out some of these things that, we want to do or maybe we don't want to do, but we'd like to learn different ways of handling situations that we're confronted with and get rid of that awkwardness sometimes. So stay with me, and this is a short video today, but that's see if you're as curious as I am about names and remembering names. So make sure you use repetition, association or visualization, whichever one works for you, use those. Until the next one, bye.